I think a big flex in life is learning how to just accept the season you're in. You're not gonna be in that season for long. When I say accept the season you're in, I don't mean like, oh, everything in your life is garbage, everything seems to be crappy. I'll just accept garbage, like not like toxic positivity type acceptance, but like accept it like, yo, you know what? I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. This is all part of the process. This is all part of the plan. This is necessary. This is a necessary step on the journey. There's something I'm supposed to be learning at this stage in my life. There's something I'm supposed to be applying more focus to. Maybe I don't see it because there's something I'm supposed to be learning at this current stage in my life. There's a reason why I'm here. Look at it from this perspective for a moment. That season that you're going through, it's intentional. It's preparing you for the next season or for a better season. It's always preparing you for something greater. Be flexible. Be adaptable to that season, whatever season you're in. Like, yo, I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. There's a reason why I'm here. Obviously, because I'm here. And yeah, there's a reason my decisions led me to be here, but there's a reason for that. There was a reason why, while I was making those decisions, that those thoughts were the only conceivable thoughts that came to mind during that point in time. I'm learning that low moments create the biggest opportunity for creativity. Creativity, for me, seems to be at an all-time high in the low season, in the lowest seasons. It's like opportunity is so easy to be seen for some reason in low moments. For anybody that can relate, you want things to go well in the low moments. You want things to get better. So it's like you're desperate for opportunity. So you see opportunity everywhere. Like, nah, frick that, yo. I'm trying to get out of this situation. I'm trying to get out of this situation now. Creativity is at an all-time high in the low moments. This might sound crazy, but I believe it's necessary to be bully in this world. And not a bully, but you gotta be bully. You gotta have some presence of dog in you, some presence that lets people know, like, you stand on business. You mean what you say what you mean, and stand on business. You're not going to allow yourself to be pushed around, manipulated, or walked all over, stepped upon by others. Yeah, I remember a time, I was probably about 12 years old, at a church retreat, and I had a cousin. Well, he was my cousin at the time, only because he was married to my cousin, so he ain't my cousin no more. But I was walking. We was at in a rural area. It was nature, trees and whatnot. And I remember I was walking, and he was sitting on a bench. He called me over. He was like, I don't remember how the conversation started, but like, I think he might have been eating an ice pop or ice cream, and he just drops the wrapper on the ground, and he's like, he said it calm, but he said it aggressive. He's like, pick up my wrapper. And I was like, you pick up your wrap, pick up my wrapper. I picked it up. He's like, see that right there? That's the bitch in you. Being a kid, I'm like, I don't like this dude. But now looking back, like, I see what he was saying. He was trying to teach me a lesson in that moment, because he was like, you got to stop letting people walk all over you. You got to stop. Looking back, I resented this dude, but I thought about it recently, and I'm like, yo, he didn't. Yeah, okay, he was getting on me, he was reaming me, but he was teaching me something, yo. He was teaching me something vital, something valuable. Like, it's necessary. You got to be bully in this world. Not a bully, but you got to be bully. You got to have that where you respect yourself, and you got to know yourself. You got to understand yourself on a deeper level to naturally develop higher levels of respect for yourself. That respect is going to come with reason. You're going to start reasoning within yourself how you haven't been respecting yourself in this way, and why it's necessary to respect yourself in this way. Not ways and other people tell you. Like, yeah, that stuff is true to some degree, but it's cliche. You already know the obvious ways you need to respect yourself, but I'm talking about ways that you don't commonly take examination of. I also believe it's necessary you allow yourself to drift sometimes. You allow yourself the freedom to just drift sometimes, in whatever way you just naturally feel compelled to, in whatever way you feel life is moving you to drift. Again, not based off what other people outside of you tell you, but ways that you within yourself, in and of yourself, naturally feel inclined to move. Golden rule of drift: if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control. I remember having a conversation with a coworker a while back. This was years ago. I was doing construction during this time. One day we was having a conversation about driving, and one of the dudes, redneck dude, this dude Brandon, he was like, Young Buck. They used to call me Young Buck. He's like, Young Buck, you think you're a good driver? I was like, yeah. He was like, how many times you wrecked? With supreme confidence. I was like, never. He's like, you ain't no fucking driver. You ain't never had no wreck, so you ain't never truly learned how to control a car. What he was saying was true. And it's not just true regarding vehicles. This is true regarding life. Like, until you've been out of control, don't take this the wrong way, but you don't truly know what needs to be controlled because you've always been controlled. Because you've always lived with this pseudo sense that I've got complete control. The first time you lose control of a vehicle, you'll realize, yeah, I control this thing, but this thing also has a mind of its own. One time I fell asleep at the wheel. Yeah, I did that. I was on the expressway. I nodded off. You know, sometimes you just drift off to sleep without even realizing it. I didn't even realize it. Eyes got heavy. I didn't know I had nodded off until I hit that grass. And when I hit that grass let me know I hit that grass. I hit that grass at 70 miles an hour. That grass was wet. I was driving an SUV at the time. I lost control like crazy, yo. I'm freaking swerving left and right. I got my younger cousin in the car with me and one of our homeboys. He's in the back seat. The homeboy in the back seat, he's calm. My dude in the back seat was like, yo, hit the brake. I hit the brake. All of a sudden, the car starts spinning. But we was good. I had believed in that moment that I had so much control over my mental faculties, my body, to where I'm like, nah, I'm good, yo. Like, I'm lulling off to sleep on autopilot, not even realizing it. And that's what I mean when I say being out of control, because you could be out of control and not even know it. You're just so accustomed to taking orders. You're just so accustomed to moving how society tells you should move, how the expectations of others tells you should move, to where you lose yourself in everyone and everything outside of you. You, unbeknownst to yourself, stop thinking for yourself. When you only allow yourself to be the sole governor of your life, you will get to a point where you will crash. You will hit a wall. When you crash on your own, you got to be your own critic. So we fricked up. We got to do better next time. We cannot allow that to happen again. The dialogue is internal, it's concentrated, and it's real at its core. You already know the truth, so there is no hiding from the truth. You have to be honest with yourself. If you truly desire greater for yourself, because you know it's only you that's going to get you to that better place. And it's not easy. Many people don't like to work hard. Me personally, I don't like to work hard, but I'm willing to work hard. My willingness supersedes any disdain I might gain towards the idea of working hard. I got some lofty expectations, but I'm also willing to subject myself to the obligations necessary to attain those expectations. That in and of itself is a flex, because most people aren't willing to do that. Like, most people will sit there and complain about a situation rather than taking the initiative. I was having a conversation with a homeboy the other day. We was talking about like illness and stuff, like disease. And yeah, man, he's in the same boat I'm in. He's like, bro, I said, listen, man, I don't feel like nothing scares me, because I feel like everything can be cured. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to put the work in, everything can be cured. You can always fast at any moment, and fast and restart your body. Like a 72-hour water fast, that begins the process of autophagy, of just basically restarting your body. All your cells regenerating. You're developing new stem cells. I said, man, stem cells cure everything. It's like, if I'm already taking a proactive approach with my diet and with my exercise every day and the stuff that I'm willing to do every day, I don't have to worry about dis-ease in my body. You know what I'm saying? If it should come my way, I'm already equipped with the knowledge, with the understanding of what to do, what the next step. A lot of times, the smallest step in something gets overlooked. Like, I used to work on cars, and something would be wrong with the car, and it might be, I'll think it's this, like something major, and it'll be something small. Like, well, hold on, bro, it's just a loose nut. Just hold on. You ain't gotta go buy a whole new axle or buy a whole new tie rod. Like, just tighten the nut a little bit. It'll be something so small, but it's like, it's impossible. Not impossible, but it's hard sometimes to imagine that something so small could be the answer, because we expect things to be big. We expect like, yo, this problem's a big problem. It must require a big solution. It's like the girth of the solution's energy must match the magnitude of the problem's energy. Anyhow, I'm transitioning. It's really necessary you govern yourself accordingly. And by accordingly, what I mean is according to whatever standard you want to attain. I've heard before it said you want to get 1% better every day, which that's the truth. Ultimately, you want to get whatever standard you want to attain. You got to get better to match that standard. I remember one of my coworkers said to me a while back, he said, D, the average man don't work out. He was like, he's an older dude. During this time, I think he was in his 50s. I don't know. He could have been in his late 40s. I don't know. But I was in my 20s at the time. So, I'm making myself sound old. Anyhow, we was having a conversation and he was like, I was telling him, I was saying, man, you keep in pretty good shape, And he was like, man, he's like, I'm just trying to stay. I forgot how he worded it, but afterwards he was like, D, the average man don't work out. So he's like, if I could just stay above that, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody freaking with me. And I thought about it over the years, and I'm like over the year, I say over the years, because I thought about it then, but the thought wasn't complete at the time. It takes time sometimes for thoughts to complete themselves, or not even complete, because I don't know that thoughts ever get completed entirely. All right, now I know that sounds crazy. Thoughts do get completed entirely, but thought is not the right term. Thought is definitely not the right term, but for lack of a better term at the moment, I'm using thought. So forgive me for not using the right term. All right. So over the time, I realized that, it's necessary to be above the average man. If you're a man, you want to be above the average because you have a better chance at getting what you desire in life, but an even better chance is to be even better than that 1% dude that's better than the average man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be, and it's not even about being better than them, it's being better than yourself. But I see the necessity in it as well, because from a necessary standpoint, like, you want to be able to defend yourself if you should ever find yourself in a situation. As a man, you're not going out looking for situations to find yourself in. A true man, call it my own personal bias or belief, but I believe a true man, at the end of the day, he just wants peace. Above all else and above everything else, peace. I just want peace. That's it, yo. Life hard enough, yo. I just want peace. He ain't going out looking for conflict, beating his chest, trying to act tough, trying to prove something to everybody, because it's like, yo, at the end of the day, like, life is hard enough. I just want peace. That's it. Whatever's gonna get me to peace, that's the path I want to take in everything. Where was I going with that? This might help somebody. Hopefully it does. And not saying you got to go out telling everybody, oh, my pursuit is peace. Actions speak louder than words. Action commands a higher level of respect. Action sometimes demands more respect. Action warrants respect. It's closer to truth than words. And I think that's why that saying, actions speak louder than words, and believe half what you see, none of what you hear, those sayings hold so much truth. This is random, but I love to get a good workout in. Like, I love going to the gym. To me, the gym is an absolute vibe. And I like the gym I go to. You come in, they got it's all nicely. It's like a Walmart, first of all. The parking lot looks like a church parking lot sometimes. You see cars double parked, but it always seems so, it's like I'm in my own world when I go there, because they got enough equipment to facilitate, and people get in there and they just get to business. It's like everybody's in their own world getting their workout in. Like, nobody's paying attention to anybody. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's my reality. My reality is I'm not paying attention to nobody else. I'm focused on my workout. So I just naturally assume my environment reflects me. So I be in there And I'm slow and methodical with everything because I focus more on like the stretch. The stretch is such it's I don't know, it just feels good, yo. It's like getting a massage. Like it's pleasurable. Like everything being just a nice clean stretch. Like a slow, and sometimes I'll hold the weight. I prefer to use machines, by the way. Let me put that disclaimer out there. I prefer to use machines, like the resistance machines, the Smith machines. I got certain machines I like. Hammer Strength, they make some great machines, as well as I don't know, that's the first one that comes to mind, but I don't know some of the other companies that I like. Regardless, I like the machines as opposed to free weights because the machines give that pull resistance. So it makes for a deeper stretch, you know, kind of like I don't know. I always think of the movie. It was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie back in the day. I forgot what the movie was called right now, where he was at one point he was tied to these 4 ropes and he was stretching. Like his sensei would have him stretching, and like Jean-Claude Van Damme is crazy flexible, yo. Like in my opinion, yo. Or back in the day, I don't know how he is now, but like he would take his foot and put his foot all the way above his head and like be standing perfect, and that ain't easy. But yeah, I don't know. It's like as I get older, I just respect the stretch, because in your 30s, like you running and gunning all the time. Like it sometimes. Just to be able to just take a moment to stretch, literally stretch, physically stretch, it's everything, yo. Feeling that blood flow, that circulation coursing through your body, releasing them chakras, you know what I'm saying? Releasing all them tense points. I remember my neighbor one time, he was like, you know, he's 60, he's in his 60s. This dude is tough, yo. This is my dude, yo. My neighbor Bill, this dude is tough, yo. Like strong. Yo, I respect this dude, old white dude, yo. He got a 2-story house. He fell off the roof last year. I think it was last year. Yes, last year, the year before last year. He fell off the roof and broke his hip, yo. He in the hospital. It was like 2 weeks later, I see him on a lawnmower. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, yo, you supposed to, yeah, I'm supposed to be, the doctor says I'm supposed to be resting, but I gotta get this thing done. Like, this man, he worked, he dedicated, yo. I respect it. You know what I mean? He a hustler. But he was telling me one time, long time ago, he mentioned to me, he said, you know, and it stuck with me like glue, yo. Like this thing, I don't know, embedded in my psyche. And it's meant to, I think. You know, I think if stuff gets embedded in you, it's meant for you. Like those gems are meant for your arsenal. So he said, you know, when you become sedentary, basically, not what was said, but what was communicated, all right, that rigor mortis begins to set in your body. The moment you stop being active, rigor mortis begins to set in slowly in your body. I'm like, yo, that makes sense, because like if I stretch after having not stretched in a while, man, I feel like I just woke something up, or I just allowed blood to flow to an area that it hasn't touched in a while. And I be experimenting with stretches now. Like I twist my leg in all kind of crazy ways and do all kind of ass stretches and stuff. Pause. No, but seriously, these stretches make a difference. Like I feel so flexible, so youthful. I had a lady, matter of fact, there was a salesman the other day came to my house, and he was like, "You live here?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You the homeowner?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, you know, he's telling me about what he's selling, and he's like, "Man, you look young, yo." He's like, you got kids?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a 15-year-old. He's like, "How old are you?" I told him how old I was. He was like, "Bro, you look like you're 23." I'm like, I appreciate it, yo. Like, you know what I mean? I had a lady said the same thing. I know, yo, I've been getting that for years. I remember I went to the fair once, and it was this dude, one of them vendors, you know, they give out prizes, and he was one, like, he was like, "If I can guess your age, let me show you, this is how Scorpio's mind works." So I walked past this dude. He didn't pay attention to when I was walking past him, because I'm walking with a crowd. But I could see him saying to people, you know, I can guess your age within 3 years of how old you are, and if not, you could get any size one of these prizes. So I had a shirt on that made me look a little younger, and I was with my family. I put a backpack on. I said, yo, hold on, I'm gonna go over to that vendor because I know he's not gonna guess my age. So I put a backpack on, went over to the vendor. I adjusted my walk to look a little younger, and I already knew he wasn't going to guess my age, but this dude was way off. I was 28 at the time. He thought I was 19. I said, yeah, let me get that big tiger. All right, let me wrap this up. This was nice though, and I'll have to do another one of these in the future. I could get my thoughts off in a car, in a vehicle, so much easier for some reason. Like, a vehicle's therapeutic for me. Like, subscribe, comment, share. You know, all the stuff I said before I wouldn't do, but you gotta let people know sometimes. Yo, people just be watching the videos